most important election in the history of our country.
There are just 8 days left in what is the most important election of our lifetime.
I truly believe this is the most important election of our lifetime.
This election is the most important election in our lifetimes, no matter what generation you come from.
2008 is the most important election in our lifetime.
This is the most important election you've ever voted in your entire life.
Americans, this is the most important election of our lifetime.
All these choices make this one of the most important elections in our history.
In what will be, I am convinced, one of the most important elections we're likely to see for the next 50 years.
1996, in my opinion, is going to be the most important election of our lifetimes.
Is the single most important election in our lifetimes.
This is the most important election in history.
This is the most important election in this nation in 50 years.
The most important of all choices will be made by the American people at the polls less than 3 months from tonight.
Asking the American people to make one of the most important decisions in their lifetime, because I think this election is one of the most vital in the history of America.
And welcome to News from the Pew, where it is the internet. Ooh, where's my hat? You can all see my bald head. Where it is the internet and we talk about things. I am, I guess you would call your host. I'm the pilot, the person that doesn't really do much. Rick Barrett. I am the Armed Catholic. You can find me at thearmedcatholic.com. First class firearm training with the foundation of Catholic tradition, because the two are compatible. And as always, is the man that everybody is here to see, the one and the only, the showstopper himself, Fwaz. Oh, wait, no, Fwaz isn't here. I meant Steve Cunningham.
Yeah. Don't cash that check.
Show 7 of Fwaz Watch. We'll find him eventually.
Yeah. Don't cash that check that's on the way. Now it'll bounce. How you doing, man?
I'm great. Always great to be with you, bud.
So anything happened this week? Anything going on?
No, I mean, so what we're going to be talking about in this show. Good morning and good afternoon to wherever you are.
Sarcastic.
I hope you're doing well. Amy, I hope you're doing well as well. Thank you for hanging out with us. So are there really only 3 people watching?
No, 3 times 3, actually.
9 people watching. So, plus this doesn't count Rumble, which we do actually pretty well on Rumble. So this week we have a bunch of stuff to talk about, but the thing that's sucking all the air out of the room is the clown show in Chicago, which Chicago is usually a clown show, but it is even more of a clown show this week because they managed to get people from all 50 states into one room to, I don't know, talk about how great they are, because that's all conventions are, Republican, Democrat, Microsoft. But it hasn't been great for them, because they're trying to portray themselves as joyful, as happy, and all these other things, except the fact of the matter is all they can do is talk badly about Trump and Republicans. And if you're into that kind of thing, you understand why that's kind of funny. But the fact of the matter is it started out on night 1. And I don't worry. I get a lot of flack for this, but yes, Joe Biden is not been the greatest Catholic, and I know I'm underlying that severely, but the man is a Catholic, A. B, he's nearing the end of his life, and C, if you're human, you have to have a small shred of just empathy for the fact that the guy is the supposed current president of these United States, and Monday was his political funeral. Everybody came out to eulogize the man that, while has a walking corpse, is politically dead. And so it started with Kamala, which I'll throw it out there. I think she's on the sauce. I don't know if anybody else has to make that statement or not, but I will say that she's either on some kind of like muscle relaxers or something like that, because she can't speak publicly. That explains the cackling and all that, or that. But from her to Hillary Clinton to Ocasio-Cortez to everybody else, and then it happened in night 2 and night 3. But then they wheeled out the old man at 11 o'clock Eastern time, where nobody was awake, and he just screamed at the teleprompter for a couple minutes. Now, if you were asleep like myself, these are some of the lowlights of his speech.
The Supreme Court majority wrote the following, quote,
Women are not without electoral or political power.
You know the thing.
I mean, come on.
No kidding. The mind that comes from having health insurance. More Americans have health insurance today than ever before in American history. And after, as a young senator beginning to fight for 50 years to give Medicare the power to negotiate low prescription drug prices, we finally beat Big Pharma.
This whole convention is brought to you by Pfizer.
And guess who cast the tie-breaking vote? Vice President, soon-to-be President Kamala Harris.
Yes, you passed one election. Yay! Yay! It's all so bad. And then they wheeled him out, and he went to, he's in California now. He's not even there. That's how just think about that. If you're into politics and you're into perception, the sitting president, supposedly, of this union is not even at his own convention because they don't want him, because it would, upstage the cackler in chief. But that didn't stop them from continuing. They rolled out Bernie Sanders night 2 to give the old Bernie Sanders speech.
Here's one more on
for night 1. Who else do we have for night 1?
Ron Paul even brings this up.
Of Joe Biden, which culminated last night at midnight, well past his bedtime. God knows how much juice they gave him to get pumped up for the speech. But he went up there as sort of like you say, kind of a sad specter of his former self, And it does remind me, not to say that they are communists, but it reminds me of the fact that he was deposed without a vote, as we've talked about on the show many times. Kamala Harris has received no votes. And I wanted to get it right, and I was looking here on Wikipedia, and it reminds me of something else in history not that long ago. On October 14th, 1964, the Presidium and the Central Committee voted to accept Khrushchev's voluntary request to retire for reasons of advanced age and ill health. And so the defenestration of Biden does remind me of when the party decided it was time for Khrushchev to go. The party has decided it's time for Biden to go.
And the people who live under that know that the party is like a god.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is they actually believe it too, because they're people who are nihilists. They don't believe in the natural laws, and they don't have to have spiritual beliefs. And they use it though. They use spiritual beliefs and all this, but they will look to the power brokers, and they've been around all the time. Even when this mess wasn't as apparent, for decades now, there have been people in this country talking about where the real government was, and it was usually referred to something like the deep state or something like that. People who behind the scenes have power, have political power to pull strings and a lot of money.
Yeah. Okay. Let's listen to Biden listen to this on democracy here.
The winter is past, and with a grateful heart, I stand before you now on this August night to report that democracy has prevailed.
By the way, they're going to kick me out in a couple weeks.
Democracy has delivered, and now democracy must be preserved.
It reminds me of a classic of the regime change operations that the U.S. has been doing overseas, if you remember. Well, everyone went out and voted, and they voted for candidate X, but the U.S. doesn't like candidate X, so they get a few hundred people in the streets, and they say, well, the people are in the streets against him, And this is exactly what we're having here. This is a color revolution because not a single person voted for Kamala Harris to be the presidential nominee. She was appointed, not elected, and Biden has the audacity to go up and say, democracy has prevailed.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
I think somebody brought up this hot August night. I think it was 40, 50 degrees, 60 degrees there. So we can get into some heat conditions later.
I know you're a little spicy on that too, but we'll save that. It's a tease.
Well, Brandon mentions about we beat Big Pharma. Didn't you guys mandate a jab? Kamala's team. Here's Here's actually the story on that right now. Mrs. Anti, there it is. Harris campaign means that mandates Rona 19 vaccine for employees. That's how you beat Big Pharma right there, ladies and gents. She was the one that they asked, would you take the jab? Well, if Trump tells me to do it, I'm not. 8 months later, she's making videos, please take the jab. Everyone's for warp speed jab. They just don't want to have his name relate in it or something like that. But yeah, it's funny to see that we beat Big Pharma by making them have windfall profits out the wazoo by forcing them. My body, my choice. Oh, wait, no. We're not for that. We'll get, that's something different.
Yeah. We'll get to the my body, my choice in a moment as well. There's a lot to unpack with that one. But the fact of the matter is,
issue.
Huh?
It's a complicated issue. My body, my choice doesn't apply here, but it applies for something else.
Applies for
Oprah.
Well, that's the holy sacrament of the Democratic Party. So it doesn't shock us in that regard. I mean, we might as well talk about it since it was the day one, the first day. What?
We'll do the rest of the low lights, and then we'll get into Oprah talking about how that's the American dream.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go to night 2 then. Night 2, we rolled out Bernie Sanders to do the Bernie Sanders shtick.
And he calls him out.
Top of that to-do list is the need to get big money out of our political process. Billionaires in both parties should not be able to buy elections, including primary elections.
Who is he talking about?
Yeah, but who is the next speaker after him? Who's J.B. Pritzler, who literally says, as a billionaire, let me tell you. So,
remember Bernie running, and it was the 2016, they had the bumper stickers, Bernie doesn't take from billionaires or something like that. That dude cashed in.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when Clinton offered him all that money to bail out.
Also, you have to understand that it used to be millionaires and billionaires until Bernie became a millionaire. Then he just upped he just dropped that from the rhetoric. So there was that. But there was also some other issues that took place on the second night of the convention, more on the side of taking a look from CNN of all places. I guess CNN got the memo to actually be more, I guess, not as far left. I mean, because you have MSDNC to do that for you, but you had CNN, I guess, trying to regain that middle ground that because nobody else will listen to them, and they came up with some pretty interesting sound bites.
Makes me think about my dad in Western Kentucky. You know, when I was growing up out there, my dad and all the other guys like my dad, blue collar guys, they love Bill Clinton. Mm-hmm. All Clinton guys. And now my dad and every single one of them that I know, all Donald Trump guys. And when I see him come out here tonight and I think about the audience in this convention, I think the Democratic Party did once have a bunch of people who Bill Clinton would appeal to. I think they're gone. I think the people who, the blue collar labor piece of the Democratic Party that propelled Bill Clinton in the 90s has completely and totally migrated over to Donald Trump. And so I wonder about the younger audience and how they view somebody like Bill Clinton today, because he's not a blue-collar hero to them. They know a lot of other things about him that, frankly, make me wonder how in the world he still makes these kinds of stages, to be honest.
He could throw out the first
pitch. The DNC is that they're going to go after corporate gouging, and they're going to go after corporations, whether it's in taxes, largesse, loopholes. The RNC, we heard the same thing. They're going after the elites, the two sets of rules. Let me reveal a reality to you that has to be spoken to here, okay? These are the soldiers. These are the men and the women that go back to their constituencies and their communities, and they fight. They take time from their jobs. They take time from their families. Republicans and Democrats alike, that's what they do. They need to charge these people up. They need to be able to get them on board. But there's another reality that is literally looking down on them. Greg, look at the ring of sweets, okay? This is not unique to Democrats. There is a game of money. When people talk about uniparty, we are strangled by the money reality in our politics. Those suites start at 500 grand. You think there's like a teacher group up in there? You think it's like the Cub Scouts of
The
Columbia
teacher,
County, South Carolina, that's up in
heads.
those boxes? Some of them are lobbies and good things. The media boxes, you think they're
Good
free?
things.
Why do you think I'm on the floor? News Nation is not a broke company. Nexstar is a massive organization. We are corporate media. We don't have one of those boxes because that's the game. You pay to play. Those boxes are filled with the same people that they say they're going to regulate. They are literally looking down on the faithful and being told, yeah, we're going to break down on them. We're going to make them pay their share. They paid $500, $700, $1 million, $1.5 million to have those seats. They get hotel suites that are probably gifted to the party. And the same thing is true with the Republican side. And they're going to take them down. They're going to change how it is. They are looking down from on high at the people who make the difference in their communities. And that is the reality of politics. And I had my producer walk around and show you those suites. Now, they're not all the same. They're not all the same. But the reality is, in 2000, they spent $300 million on presidential campaigns. 24 years later, you know what they're expected to spend? $10 billion. Do you know how much money Harris has raised in the last couple of weeks? Hundreds of millions. And that's success. A lot of it's small donor, a lot of it isn't. The most dangerous money in politics is now legal money because of Citizens United. You've got to know this. The idea that they can fight against it is almost laughable. It's almost laughable. So look and listen when you are told these things. Because I don't care what they promise you. Not here tonight, not at the RNC, not that Trump knows them, not that they don't own them. He did one of the biggest fundraisers I've ever heard of in my life out where I live. Millions of dollars a plate. That's the reality of politics.
Any new voters at this convention?
I highly doubt it. I think this is all playing to their own base, not trying to recruit new people, because clearly the Democratic Party, my party, is not interested in talking about what matters. How are you going to keep people safe? How are you going to secure the border? And how are you going to deal with the 8 million undocumented individuals that they let in under Kamala Harris's lead?
Yeah, but don't worry. Do not worry, my man, because the Democrats have a way of reaching out to those rural voters that were Clinton guys. It's those camo hats right there. Rolling Stone, the genius work of this one bit of the Harris Waltz merch, a camouflage hat, reclaims the rural and Southern identity. What Southern identity would that be, Steve, of the Democratic Party? But literally, the Democratic Party thinks we'll throw a camo hat on you, or we'll appeal to the Southerners just by having a camo hat out there. That's really what they think of you. They think you're just stupid.
They've seen the success from the red MAGA hats, so it's kind of like NFL. It's the imitation league, the copycat league. If you see something work, give it a shot. I mean, marketing, it's what do we expect? But I mean, what Cuomo said, man, you talk about almost like nothing like a woman scorned right there. I mean, he took off the gloves and kind of went at him like, hey, they're a gaming.
He's not happy to be at News Nation, folks. Let's just say that.
Well, that's who's that? But it's just showing that this is all a game. This is all a show. I mean, here's some non-political, well, I guess you would say political statements. Here's some of the people that they had during the off speeches.
My name is Dr. Joey Pella, pronouns she, her, hers. I'm a proud resident of the Garden State. I'm proud to stand with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz because they stand with the LGBTQ community.
MAP. Don't forget the MAP.
It's time to turn the page on Trump. Thank you.
You got
Who's his patience? Who is his patience, though? I mean, somebody go like, I'm not going back to that guy. Here's you mentioned CNN.
Can we grab the mic from his hand, please? Can somebody get the mic?
But they are doing so in trying to put forward male figures, Tim Walz being one of them, Doug Mhof last night, who can speak to men out there who might not be the sort of testosterone-laden,
then you might be
kind of guy who wants to listen to Hulk Hogan and the kind of players that came out of the RNC.
Girly men.
Or might want to listen to that, but also, in addition, understand that it's okay in 2024 to be a man comfortable in his own skin who supports a woman. And that's something that they really are trying to work on.
I like how Pete Buttigieg is speaking at that moment.
They've had a couple really good timings.
Masculinity in 2024, and what we saw at the Trump convention, which was, as you know, somebody, I forget exactly who said it, testosterone with Kid Rock and the Ultimate Fighting Champion guy.
Yeah, that guy.
And
that guy.
Well, just to play on what Rick was saying about the timing.
Childless Cat Lady.
The queen of the Childless Cat
Lady. It's almost like she knew it. Look back. Are you looking at me?
Like, who'd that be? Not me. That's like the Kale and Peele skit. Have you seen it?
Is that the kiss cam? They put him up on the big screen too.
I'm surprised they didn't like animate cats on her shoulder just to be like, go, go, go with the cats. If you saw the Kale and Peele ski, somebody where one of them speaking, he's like, and we'll help members of the gay community. And then they cut to the other guy and he's like, and they keep cutting back to him. He's like, nah, dude, that ain't me. But poor girl, even if she's not, she's probably got like 4 kids or whatever. And she's now going to be the poster child for the Childless Cat Lady. While the queen of the Childless Cat Ladies, Oprah, is speaking up at the convention, right? Her and her husband, or no, man friend, whatever his name is, Stallard or whatever.
Yeah, I don't have the clip on it because I didn't want to have too much Oprah, but she talked about being, seeing the racism and the all the stigmas attached to it. Everyone and their brother easily came up with the memes going, but you're worth $3 billion. I mean, you put the post up there about her being with
Harvey. With Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein.
Yep, in Hollywood. When she was talking about decency being back on the ballot.
Yeah, decency. Here's someone put a meme out. Let's see if I have that. Remember having that right here. Yes, from everyone's favorite movie. Wait a minute. They have an abortion vasectomy van in a parking lot. They say hope Trump supporters' daughters are raped. Have known pedophiles speaking at the convention. Widely applaud when Trump is almost assassinated. And they're at a party of decency and respect.
Yeah.
You can't make some of this stuff up. They're just more low light highlights. Here's from Minnesota.
Life.
Nice outfit.
My name.
It's good to know that.
My name in the Ojibwe language is Gigi Wewadam Ukwe, or in English, speaks with a clear and loud voice, woman. I'm a member of the White Earth Nation, and my family is the Wolf Clan. And the role of our clan is to ensure that we never leave anyone behind. That's why I am supporting
the Wolf. I turned on.
So can I get into Grey Wolf Lodge like with a discount if I'm part of your clan? I'm wondering.
This is sorry. I turn on I was going to turn on local news and Spectrum. Everybody was having on. Sometimes you get lucky and Spectrum is doing the local news at the time. Unfortunately, it was not that time. And I was gifted with the timing of an interview with Alfred, which the lady is, I wish I had the clip. The lady's introducing him and is trying to keep it together and says, we're here now with Alfred. He can introduce himself to you. And he goes, sir, what is your name? I am Alfred Walking Bull. And he's got these earrings that LGBT, he's got the flare, all that stuff. Yeah, it was a train.
Pieces of flare.
Yeah, he's got to have the flare. And I text one of my priest friends going, is there anybody in Minnesota that has a pulse? How did these people get into your government? You have that lady. I looked her up, and she actually has a website and her real name and all that. I should have brought it up for the show everyone on this, but I was just curious, like, where did she come from? Where the mayor of her hometown. She's outside of Minneapolis, St. Paul, by just being in the Northwest somewhere. And the mayor's a Muslim. Well, even the small town guys, you guys suck in Minnesota. No offense to people in Minnesota. Get off your keisters and do something. Your country of Minnesota is literally a place. Just break away from Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul. If you haven't thought about that, Here, take that thought, start working on it. Unless you just like being abused, and then seeing what. I mean, your former governor let your state burn to the ground, and you sat back and did nothing. How we would have done? You know, I'm not going to. We're a family-oriented program. We don't want to get. We do. This is for entertainment purposes only, but that wouldn't fly in the South. I have Canadians that come down here. The guy at the gym's Canadian goes, "This is why I came to the South because everything I tell them." He goes, "That stuff would fly in Boston, New York, something like that. None of this junk you see on TV." Just like what happened in Asheville. It was BLM during the BLM days. They tried doing that stuff here. That lasted 3 minutes. The people came out in Asheville, which is like Denver, Colorado light, want to be Denver. And then it's like, nah, that ain't happening. Like the police came, the citizens came, they removed and kicked them out of the city. That don't fly down here, even in weird cities. But apparently you can burn down the city. And your governor
Well, if they burn down the city, the governor's wife will open up the window to smell the burning ashes. So,
I mean, I'm making light of it. I know people that have moved out and said they're worried about their lives and living in there, and you've seen reports of people getting shot, their homes getting shot again. What is everyone's solution? Oh, we'll vote for DC. I mean, you see people that have big names on the Catholic blogosphere and videosphere. They're in Minnesota, and that's all they do is, well, we'll fix DC. You can't fix your own backyard, yet you think you can fix the entire continent from Atlantic to Pacific. Pass me the hookah pipe.
I mean, that's kind of the thinking with Royce White. You kind of wish somebody like Royce White would run for governor, right, instead of Senate.
But we just don't think that way. I've gone to the point that I don't care anymore. I'm just going to keep saying it and saying it until someone's I'm trying to work with the Abbeville Institute to do a symposium to talk about this idea. But if you don't get that mindset, we'll talk about that with abortion coming up, because that's actually how I found it. I was at that accident, turn it on and see it. The lady after him talked about the abortion issue in 9 states, and I'm going. I look at my wife going, did you hear anything about this? Let me look that up real quick. Oh, wow. That took me literally 4 seconds to find out. Hey, what has Pro-Life Inc. been doing about this?
Planning the march.
I'm still looking. It's that bones on the thing looking. I'm still looking for this.
Yep. They're planning the march for next year. I mean, come on, man. I got to plan the DC march. That's a lot of work.
Anyway, one more of the follies, because it just shows just how everything is.
Someone should have told Donald Trump that the president's job under Article 2 of the Constitution. Someone should have told Donald Trump that the president's job under Article.
Just kidding. So his teleprompter broke.
Glitched out.
That's what happened. It kind of like what just happened there. The teleprompter broke. And who is that? Raskins, I think, out of Maryland. I think you guys such a scummy man.
All these speeches are already pre-written, and it's like they said, it's a pep rally, just like the RNC. And I saw guys on the MAGA guys yelling at the Dems at this thing, going, "What did you expect them to go out there and say, hey, we love Trump"? They're going to trash each other. Wait a minute. Here's a video on exactly that. Where is it? Where did I put it?
How has television changed American politics?
Trivialized it. Television is an entertainment medium, as you know. I mean, we think, for example, we're educating people with this interview. We're not educating people. They're looking at us. They want to see a little fight. They want to see a little conflict and so forth. And when we get through, they wouldn't be able to tell us what we talked about. But that's television. And so in the time before television, when I campaigned in 46, when I campaigned in 48 for the national ticket for Dewey, and then in 1950 as well, television just didn't play a role at all. But that meant that the print press played a much bigger role. It also meant that politics was much more serious. I mean, there was really serious discussion of issues. With television, too much emphasis is on quips, on what'll fit in the 10 seconds in the evening news and the rest, rather than on serious discussion. Now, image is very important. Image is, I think, all important in television. That's why frankly, you should be more concerned about your makeup artist than your researcher.
Hey, that's you brought up something at the beginning of this. I didn't play the clip yet, but you brought up that Joy thing. Here's the Rising, and they bring up that clips about Joy.
Welcome to Rising. We have just one more day left of the Democratic National Convention.
All you independents and all you undecideds.
Yes, satanic witch.
You know this is true.
Lend me your ears.
You know I'm telling you the truth.
Gross.
That values and character matter most of all. Common sense tells
Where's all
you
that money from Maui?
that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz can give us decency and respect.
What about Joe?
Shortly after Oprah's speech, the Trump War Room account posted a letter on X that they said Oprah wrote to Trump back in 2000, suggesting he'd be a good president. Quote, "Too bad we're not running for office. What a team." When asked about the letter last year, Oprah said, I might have thought it back then. I might have thought it 23 years ago.
Former President Bill Clinton took the stage last night, applauding Harris as a president of joy.
From a man who once had the honor to be called in this convention, the man from hope. We need Kamala Harris, the president of joy, to lead us.
Does she have a daughter?
So, I'll be doing my part, you do yours. I'll see you when we're making a real joyful noise when the votes are counted.
Despite the big names who took the stage last night, for me, the one who stole the show was Tim Walz's son, Gus, who became emotional on behalf of his dad.
This goes into kind of what that clip I was just talking about on TV.
Hope, Gus, and Gwen, you are my entire world, and I love you.
Now everybody hold up, because apparently Gus Waltz has ADHD and a learning disorder and all this other kind of stuff. So before we all dunked on him and make fun of him,
they get mad at other people when they use kids, but it's okay when you do it.
Right. It's just like, you know, he's got all the things, and I'm not saying that to be mean. It's just that he's a kid that's got all the stuff. I know people on the right are dunking on him. It is a great point you brought up, Steve, that it is just emotional manipulation.
It's
right?
lowbrow.
There's no fact, logic, any of that stuff. It's just straight emotional manipulation on that part.
It's lowbrow.
I mean, his speech wasn't even that good. That's why they had to highlight the kid at the end.
It's lowbrow politics. What have you done? Just like was Nixon said on the thing. It's not about issues. It's not about this. It's about what you look at. Your image. Your like. How do I like? Do people like? They bring out the football team. Hey, we bring out Hulk Hogan. We bring out this. Hey, we like it. It's like how I said when I was a moron back in the day. It's like, hey, I like Bush because he owned the Rangers. I mean, that's the level they're working to. Because you go to their website, CamelaHarris.com. Where's the policy?
None.
There's literally nothing. There's no interviews. There's no policies. There's there's a team store.
That's where you can buy the camo hat.
You get the camera, the "Yes She Can" sticker or "Yes She Can" shirt. That's it. So literally, the election is when, a couple months away. Her website has nothing. Vigilant Fox was great on this.
Well, there's a reason why, is because anytime she's opened her mouth about policy, anytime she's actually done that, I think, what's it? I have it here. Give me a second. Who is it? Zero Hedge brings it up perfectly. That she's brought up 3 policy things, and these are the 3 policy things that have been talked about. Straight up big government price controls, a 28% corporate tax, a 44% capital gains tax, and a $25,000 tax on unrealized gains every year. That's why they don't put policy up, Steve. Because as soon as you do it, people are like, that's not joyful. That's psychotic. What you're doing here, man. That's what we call crazy talk.
I remember she's an authoritarian cop. So she's going to rule like an authoritarian cop. This rule. Yeah. that's what just like Off Guardian talked about it here is, 4 years ago, Kamala polled 1% in the primaries. 3 years ago, least favorite VP ever. 8 weeks ago, Brandon did not have dementia and was going to run again. Now she is the nominee and everybody loves her. And was it the day before she was anointed? Or she's being anointed tonight. But the day before, it was AOC said nobody likes Kamala. Yeah. But
yeah,
we're good.
They had 60-minute things where the guy told her like you're not a very likable vice president. She was like, so this is common knowledge that nobody liked her.
Again, this goes back to the idea that there's absolutely not a snowball's chance in Hades that she's there. There's no way that she's being put in sacrificial lamb. Going to make it look like we can't get throttled. Because again, if you go out, and so I was telling the guy at the gym this, if they come out and say Trump's up 80%, who's tuning in? You're not tuning into TV. They need eyeballs. They need the ratings. They get paid for ratings. So if they have no ratings, no one's tuning in. So if you go out and say this is going to be a landslide, forget about it. No, they say
it serves their agenda of division.
Yeah.
Because as soon as Trump wins, then they can come out with, well, America wasn't ready for a woman again, especially a woman of color who's so qualified, and they can continue the race narrative and they can continue the culture divide. So it's perfect for them. They can get the doors blown off of the campaign. And then they can say, well, America wasn't ready. Or just because Joe sunk us and we had to bring in Kamala at the last minute. I mean, all the excuses in the world are being set up. Steve and I said before Kamala was appointed that this was Trump's race to be reinstalled. So when the economy really falls off a cliff and they start the wars that he can't stop and all this other stuff, he can't really do anything about it. Now, let's touch on the abortion bust before we move on.
Because just to finish what you were saying, exactly right. And then they're going to bring in your girl, Michelle.
Big Mike doesn't want it.
Trump comes in.
It's going to be AOC before Big Mike.
It's going to be Obama dynasty continued. It's just this little speed bump, not even a speed bump, because nothing's going to change. Peter Thiel will still be in there. You're still going to get precog. You're still going to get the digital ID. Let me play this on Peter Thiel real quick. I'll kill the volume because I'm sure the song will probably get us.
We're going to get copyright struck.
Oh yeah. That's
striking that copyright. Strike it. I mean, unless you're a makeup channel, you're getting copyright struck on everything. We're doing it to gun
Thiel
channels
co-founded PayPal back in 1998. The team around him went on to create groundbreaking startups. You've heard of them all, like YouTube. Yeah.
Well, so it's going to start. They're going to stop talking there in a second, but it just shows you, billionaire Peter. They're not the billionaires. Bad, but Palantir, PayPal. He's surveillance. Everything that's went on during the surveillance of 2020. The data mining, all this. We talked about this. We're the only ones talking about this in the Catholic sphere. We're literally, no one else is bringing up Peter's name. But this is what's coming in with JD Vance. He owns JD.
Yeah. He pretty much plucked him out. One could even say he was groomed.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah. And he was in the White House with, the first reign.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when conservatives complain, here's the thing. When conservatives complain about deplatforming, when they complain about all these things, Peter Thiel's PayPal is one of the first ones to do it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They've kicked off a ton.
So it's, y'all like him now while he's at the same time stealing, or he's inhibiting, he's holding back your ability to do basic things.
I'm glad you brought that point up, that the you like him now type deal, because let me get
that's politics, period.
You get the hint. Here's Elon.
Yeah.
Just the update on Neuralink. Now, I retweeted saying now insert Bill Gates' name instead of Elon.
Yep.
Is everybody
Elon did an interview with Trump, so it's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. We're gonna embrace it because our guy is pushing for it. They're gonna have people embrace the digital ID, which I have a link on that. Before we get into the other things, Here's 159 countries set to adopt BRICS, new payment system because of de-dollarization. Here's an article from the Defender. How soon will you get digital ID? If you scroll down here, it talks about, according to ID ScanNet, 13 states that have it for driver's license, I think it is California, Arizona, Colorado, Delaware, Georgia, Iowa, Louisiana. We went over this a couple weeks ago. Ohio launched digital driver's licenses early this month. Similar programs are in progress in additional 14 states, while in 2 states, Louisiana and Mississippi, mobile ID can be used to vote. And 7 countries have launched it already, including Canada, Estonia, Germany, India, Japan, Singapore, and Sweden. The EU launched its digital ID and wallet earlier this year. Each of the 27 EU member states will offer. Hey, what did they just say? 27 EU member states. Oh, I think we've talked about that before. That means
we might have mentioned it.
Is that the C word? Countries, 27 EU member countries will offer at least one version of EU digital identity wallet, which includes driver's license, personal health data, travel documents, social security information, personal SIM cards, university diplomas, and also maybe connected to one's bank accounts. Yay! Greece uses intense sporting events. You're going to get big tech on whoever you get in the thing, and you will embrace it. You're going to have MAGA guys go, give me the digital ID.
Well, that's because it'll be an American flag one that they put in their head. So that's as long as it's American flag colored, it'll be fine. That's all. Yeah, red, white, and blue right on the side. So it is what it is in that regard.
Dude, I don't know. We just got to stay. We got to keep the joy, man. I want
President of Joy. President of Joy.
Isn't it nice and fluffy and kind? And what's her policies? I don't know. She just brings joy. Makes me feel good. She makes me laugh.
Well, we are a country of emotions.
Makes me cause one to drink a little bit.
Well, we all know Kamala drinks a lot. Anyway, I'm gonna just move on that. So this we're gonna go back around to it because I know it's in the, and I know Steve wants to talk about it, the abortion bus, and the outrage that was built up on that. And there's really not a lot to go on. Just reported that the abortion bus and the vasectomy bus was pulling up to the DNC, and then all their appointments were taken up. And they reported, 25 abortions took place on Monday, and you know, however many vasectomies took place, and this, that, and the other thing, which Steve sniffed out pretty quickly. I don't really know how that takes place, but I'll let Steve jump from there. The outrage, the fake outrage over the abortion bus, and how to sniff through it.
Yeah, it's all right. So yeah, everybody knows. Don't need to put a video out on it. Well, there's really no video except for seeing outside it. I was actually a friend of mine who works for another big company. Apostolate sent me a video of Catholics for something. Is Catholics for Catholics, I think is the name, reporting from 20 yards away from the bus what's going on in the bus. And I wrote it back going, this is not evidence. I might as well just put a tweet out saying I just killed 15 people in my rental and have a report out front, show you no evidence of it going on, nothing, just believe me, trust the media, of course. And not saying they were lying, but it's kind of like that we got to be better than the other guys. If we see a tweet or something saying, and you saw with the shooting, guys sending these videos of he's not even looking the right way, or not the right person behind him. It's not even the same field, but people just re-click it because emotion. You know, saying we're voting, emotion. Everything's just literally emotion. We see something, we don't even read the link. We don't even read the blog. We say something, this was it. Did you read it? Didn't say anything of it. You get the clickbait headlines and it gets you all riled up. You don't even click the link to read what's in it, which is bad on them for putting the headline and us for not doing due diligence to see, hey, is this even true or not? And it happens all the time, literally every day. Probably happens now. Many people do it. So there is guys going around saying, 25 abortions. Catholic vote was bad on this. 25 abortions happened. Do you have evidence? Is there linking in it? We have people all over the place. There's guys. Matt Walsh is apparently undercover at the thing. Yeah, Mike Lindell, the pillow guy, doing it.
He shaved his mustache to go there
without the stash. You telling me we can't? Nobody can get on that bus to see what's going on inside the bus because you say, hey, I'm going in this to do this. They can tell you whatever the heck they want. They don't have to do anything. They just trolled you and got you all worked up over that. Here, focus right here. We're not going to do all this other stuff. Just focus on here. Get mad at here. You might not. You don't even know what's going on. Who killed? The Cuomo just talked about people paying $50,000 to $1.5 million to have a suite. All those people that are delegates aren't the people that live in inner city Chicago hanging out at the convention center. You telling me people are coming there with all that money and all this and going, well, skip the clean, I guess you say clean, more of the, where they have blood and things like that if something goes wrong. No, we're going to get our, let me get a double Big Mac his drive-through and we'll get a side of abortion in there. They just go in, we'll go in and out process. Give me a bag of peas. Who done? They ain't nobody as crazy as these things. Nobody does that. No one has drive-through surgeries, and that's the thing. Then they go in the websites. Were even saying, well, they're giving the
is it the Plan B pill or whatever it is?
The pills, and our guys still were saying there were 25 abortions going on. Is okay. Not saying the pills was good at all. That's like they were handing out.
Wouldn't you count the pill as abortifacient?
They were abortifacients. But again, who's okay? The handing out. I didn't see anybody who was even pregnant in the videos that they were showing. I mean,
just to play devil's advocate, they could be early on.
Could be. There's a lot of activity.
Just as a devil's advocate approach.
No, still. And I told him, say, okay, yeah. Then say they're giving the pills, but don't be saying they're giving 25 abortions per season.
That's assumptive language. When you think of abortion, you're thinking the stirrups, the surgery, the vacuum, and all that stuff, and they're playing to the imagery.
Right. Or go get inside that. And you either expose their lie and show the world that these guys are lying and trolling everybody, or you expose the evil. It's a win-win either way. But we didn't have nobody there that could get in. I think it was over Tuesday because I clicked you do some link search and you can find their link on the drive to mobile and you could click this Google thing to apply for an appointment. So it wasn't a drive-by. You had to click up to get the appointment. It wasn't just like you walked up to it. You had to get your name.
I might be pregnant. Can I get one of them pills?
You could probably walk up and get a pen or something, but you couldn't just walk up. And then by the time Tuesday morning was around, you click it, it was already full. So going, okay, somebody went out of the way to click it, to sign up for it. Again, get in their car to drive further away from the one that's probably in their neighborhood or the hospital down the street or whatever to go into the RV. Doesn't make any sense. And that's why I immediately said, guys, we're getting trolled here. We're getting played. And a lot of guys, we are that, maybe highly unlikely. Maybe they did do something. No, probably not. But are we that easy?
Also, I think, I don't think a medical board would actually give authorization to have a surgery in an RV.
No way.
Who's medical? Yeah, even in Illinois, I don't think they're going to allow is that it's like the one by kid. Oh, is that your RV? Is that ready? Okay, cool. Yeah, sure. We can, we can murder the heck out of these people there.
People get upset about having home births. You're going to get, that's really going to, if they had a just kind of strange in the thing, but our guys, and literally everybody was talking about it. I remember Leela Rose did a video right off. It said the same thing. 25 were aborted today. And there was a few people, that asked her, can you provide evidence? Do you have a link? Do you have anything? Any evidence? You see blood flowing out of the doors. Anything.
You see a bag of bodies.
Anything.
The red bag, right? Because they have to have them in the biohazard bag.
They got to come out of the thing. Mm-hmm. And they're not just going to just sit there. I mean, that anybody come out the door with a bag of bodies and throw it in the trash. Anything. Nobody has nothing. And that's the thing. The best argument someone had me was somebody doing a video outside the RV like you are right now. It was literally like you talking with it. Hey, we're standing in front of the RV right now where they did 25 abortions.
Yep.
Do we have any proof? We don't have any proof. They tell us that somebody came out of the room and said that they're doing it. So we believe them 100%. Also, vaccines work. They're safe and effective.
Yeah, this entire segment was sponsored by Pfizer. So
yeah, just that whole thing. All right, are we that easily? Are we that easily believe the motivated to be angered? Yes, be upset. It's a clown show up there. This clip about the TV. It's meant to get our emotions going up. It's meant to get us divided. It's meant to get us ticked off. But where's everybody on this? This is what I brought up before. These are the states where abortion rights will or could be on the ballot in November. Arizona Abortion Access Act could go into state constitution for fetal availability of 22 to 24 weeks. Colorado, enshrine abortion rights in the Constitution, approve the use of public funds for abortion. The Florida one's the limit. They're all upset about that one. That's the only one you hear anything about because of that. Right to Reproductive Freedom Initiative would enshrine abortion in the state's constitution. That's Maryland. Missouri established a right in the state constitution. Montana in the state constitution. Nevada. Anybody see the common denominator? Nevada enshrined in the state constitution. New York amend the Equal Protection Clause in the state's constitution to say that a person's rights cannot be denied due to pregnancy outcomes, and reproductive health care autonomy. Easy for you to say. South Dakota, right to abortion initiative would legalize abortion during the first and second trimester of pregnancy. So all but two are doing something with the state constitution. And I would bet, you want to put that $5 stake on it? I would bet 6 pass.
I would bet the Florida one may not pass, right?
No, yeah, I'm not. I'll leave Florida out.
But I would go so far in saying 8-1, right? If you put the states up again, I'll tell you. Put the states up again. I'll tell you which ones will pass and which ones won't. If you give me the map because I'm stupid. Let me see the actual pictures. Let's see. Montana's on the fence. Nevada will go. Arizona will go. Colorado will go. Montana, South Dakota, maybe. Missouri, maybe. New York will go. Maryland will go. All right. So I got what? 1, 2, 3, 4. What's it? 5-4. I'll say 5-4. 5 go. Nevada, Arizona, Colorado, New York, and Maryland. Florida, Missouri, South Dakota, and Montana, I will say technically might not go. Just because.
I'll put the over-under at 4. You guys in the chat, what you guys, over-under 4. I'm going 6.
Yeah. You're going to 6? You think, I mean, obviously, I think Missouri might, because, you know, they're pretty active at the local level there with Andrew Bailey and all those kinds of guys running. You know, they're good about their local politics. Florida's good about their local politics.
Missouri,
Montana,
that was Missouri lost that election a couple years ago.
That's true. So, you know, hopefully they'll work again on that.
And it's significant that it's coming up during the big vote. So shouldn't work.
It should work in the favor of red states.
Should. Yes.
It should. Now, and if Nevada goes red, like a lot of people are predicting, then maybe that one could technically pass. But we'll see here's the problem, Steve. Pro-Life Inc. and nobody's bringing these up that they're even on the ballot.
I haven't seen one Pro-Life Inc. representative say a thing about this. And this is from August. This was August 21st. This was updated. This was not like this the other day. They had one from April that I found this map. This got updated yesterday. So anybody, like I said, anybody has heard about this, but this goes into federalism. If we
believe in
that mindset, you could win each of those in that state. But what is the pro-deathers doing? They get it. They're looking to enshrine it at the state level. That's why I keep thinking the death of Roe was planned because it got that out of D.C. where it could be killed by SCOTUS. Now it's in the states, and they can enshrine that thing real quick.
Well, if you're also saying that, LGBT and abortion are the 2 plaques at the Democratic convention. So that'll be when they go in there. The Democratic voter will look for that on the ballot, and the Republican will not. So you could lose, like Florida could go red and everything else, but they'll lose on that because Republican voters only cared about clicking for Trump and then walked out. You know, they didn't care about anything else because Trump will fix it. Not a big deal. We'll be fine. Where your pro-deathers are like, no, we have to find it on the ballot. We have to vote for it.
Yeah, no, exactly right. Yeah, we're our guys, the good team, as Jack says, the good guys will go in and go. Hey, that's why Minnesota has a weirdo, has a weirdo for a governor, and that lieutenant Dances with Wolves lieutenant governor, and all these other weird. The mayor of the little town is a Muzzy, and all. Okay, Catholics, time to get involved. Maybe
well, it's also hard for Catholics because you have Kupchik. Or Supich, I always call him Kupchak. Supich doing the opening at the DNC, so it's always muddled there too.
I was zero shocked at that when I saw that because one, like my wife has brought it up, and I go, "It's not shocking. They're in his backyard, so he was going to do that. If he was in New York, he'd have Dolan doing it, and he's done it before. And then the whole thing with pectoral cross and all that. Are we really shocked? I mean, I remember hearing priests say or other bishops say something about he's not the sharpest crayon in the box, if you know what crayons are, things like that. So it's not shocking. I would have been more shocked, obviously, if he would have done it. Nobody watch. He would have done
right
that.
if he did it in Latin. If he did it in Latin, the entire conference would have blown up.
It would have had heart attacks. Oh, I can't believe it. Oh, here comes the big one. He did that.
Yeah.
I go again. Are we just getting mad to be mad? It's the I mentioned it on an interview with the religious hippie on this. And I said it's just like the coach from Arizona talking about the Bears back in the day. They are who we thought they were.
We let him up.
You know who he is. Are you really sure you're going to lose it over that? You know who the guy is. You know I don't know why anybody was shocked, but yeah, it goes. But this thing, I mean, the guys, people in your states. If you're here in the states, what are you more focused on? Getting Trump in or cleaning your backyard up? Because if Colorado, you already got a gay governor, you got trannies in the state house, you're going to end up having taxpayer-funded abortions.
Colorado is being taken over by Venezuelans. There's
that's Aurora,
who are like, there are gun battles in the street in Denver. Entire apartment complexes are being taken over by Venezuelans. Not a word about any of that. What they will do is they'll pass more assault weapons bans and all. So if you are a citizen of the state of Colorado, as we talk about here, the independent country of Colorado, your right to defend yourself doesn't exist. But the Venezuelan has every right to take over your apartment complex with firearms that are illegal and to not possibly, be able to take your life. And they'll apologize to the Venezuelan for it.
Here's what's going on in Oregon.
Taxpayer-funded group is offering $30,000 to new home buyers. Lauren, you cannot apply if you're an American citizen. What's with that?
Why would an American citizen apply for a taxpayer-funded program to get $30,000 for a new home? I mean, it's wild.
Oh, in California, 0 down for first generation. That's the coded language. First generation Americans, which they're not even Americans, but they're just first generation home buyers. I'm sorry, that's the key phrase. First generation home buyers, 0 down, and 0% interest for your new American brethren, ladies and gentlemen. That's what happens when you have your foundation, your one glob of Ameristan. Guess what? They're your neighbor now, and they're coming to a neighborhood near you. And because you didn't clean up, like Steve said, your backyard, now they are your backyard. They are your backyard now. So it's pretty incredible that all of this is flying under the radar because Trump. Got to vote for Trump.
With this and see what all this other stuff is going on.
Yep.
Because you mentioned it, you saw Polis up. He's the governor of Colorado. Polis up talking a good game. I was actually shocked he wasn't VP candidate. But again, because there's the sacrificial lamb, you're going to get cheerleader Timmy. And
I read a couple sources that say 9 other people passed on it. Yeah. 9 other people were called before Walt. I think even Buttigieg was like, yeah, this is even too gay for me, man. We can't do this. So I'm not going to tank my political future next to Kamala Harris, who's going to get the doors just blown off of this campaign.
And by the way, in the polls, these are the same polls that told you that Clinton was beating DJT back in 2016 too, and you saw how that worked out. Polls mean nothing. It sure has a little bit, but nothing.
They,
But yeah,
I mean,
it's,
they oversample Democrats anyway, because supposedly there are more Democrats registered in this union than Republicans, so it's always going to be left leaning. It's always going to have a left tinge to it on top of that. So it doesn't really shock me in that regard. Even when you have are you teeing up the Kennedy? The Kennedy story?
I just clicked on that link. Yeah, just
because I have the actual video file of
go ahead.
When the announcement that it was actually made.
There's only one party that has obstructed a fair election for us. And unfortunately, it was the Democratic Party. They've done everything they can, including creating PACs to prevent us from being able to have ballot access.
Yeah, it's interesting because you were saying that you could stay in and run the risk of Kamala Harris win, or you could walk and you could join forces with Donald Trump. When you say join forces, Nicole, what do you mean specifically?
Join me, and we will rule
this
the galaxy.
idea of a unity party, an idea of us coming around these principles of fighting for liberty in this country, fighting for our children's health. We have the worst chronic health crisis in the world right now. Over 50% of children are diagnosed with some chronic disease. This is unconscionable. Yeah. And we are willing to work with anyone who is sincere in their endeavor to fix and address this issue.
Do you believe the Trump campaign and Trump himself is sincere? Do you see a home? You talk about this as being Bobby's decision. Do you see a home for RFK Jr. in the Trump administration, Health and Human Services, something to that extent?
I would fully support it. I would fully support a strong partnership dedicated to this issue. A lot of people comment that in his first term he didn't accomplish many of the things that mothers really were hoping he would do. Made some big mistakes around the pandemic. However, I think that he is sincere.
Yeah,
I do.
I think it's interesting because the National Review today kind of agrees with you. It's saying that if you,
I mean, blah 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 blah. That's it. That's fine. You got the big point of it. They're thinking there's a press conference scheduled on Friday in Arizona. Ooh, who else is in Arizona? Trump's in Arizona. So now everybody's freaking out that they're going to come on stage like Macho Man and Hulk Hogan, and they're just going to shake hands, and it's going to be the biggest political event in the history of political events. Just more stuff to distract.
To be part of this. Remember that tweet that Elon comes out with?
He wants to serve too. He wants to be a part of the administration. All the cool kids want to be a part of it now.
Something weird about it going on. It's kind of like, was this part of the plan to begin with, to have the big three to unite their forces together? I don't trust them.
Like Voltron.
Like somebody more than Power Rangers. It smells like fish, and it's something fishy. And ain't the fish.
Yeah,
I'm not. But I mean, she is right on a lot of things. Like, hey, Washington fruit doesn't remove pesticide residues. Study confirmed first.
Ooh, sorry, I you just brought this up. You just brought while you put that up, I just saw something on X, Twitter, like whatever you want to call it. Where is it? Here it is, from the U.S. Department of Health. This just came out before we went on air, as they would say in the biz. But from the U.S. Department of whatever it is, Department of Health, fluoride in the drinking water is 2 to 5 point. It is causing a 2 to 5 point IQ drop in children. Where's Alex Jones? Where's Alex Jones when you need him?
And the people that are getting it out, they're doing it at the local level. Like, there's cities in Portland that got fluoride out. There's a city in Southeast Charlotte that's working to get it out. There's Houston, I think, banned it. So there's a lot of people going after the fluoride in the water at the local level because you're not getting it out at the big dogs. But here's one for you. You've heard about this all the time with fertility rates going down, sperm counts going down in men.
The frogs are gay. The frogs are gay.
The gay thing. They're putting contraceptives down the toilets and it's getting in the drinking water, all that jazz. What is really good? I didn't know this the other day. What is really good for male fertility? It's a summer fruit, watermelon seeds. How many times? Yes. How many times have you ever been told not to eat the seeds? All the time. It's good for your heart, cardiovascular problems. It's good, and it's good for male fertility. It's good for quite a few things. One of the big things is male fertility. I did my own little experiment earlier today. I went to Walmart, Harris.
You already got somebody pregnant? You got your wife pregnant again? You had the seeds this morning, and it's already happened.
It's
amazing.
Nobody has seeded watermelon anymore. It's all seedless. You have to grow your own. I got some in the back. They're just not ready. But you have to grow your own to have it. You can fry, you can boil, you can bake them, fry them, those seeds, all that. Very good. They help clean your colon, things like that. Everything they told you for years not to eat it. Just like don't drink raw milk. It's only the best thing in the world for you, but don't drink it because you might get sick. Same thing with the water. You can't do this. You don't eat that. Don't eat this. Don't do this. Whatever they tell you don't do, probably should do it.
It's the same line of thinking. Like if they tell you you don't need an assault, you don't need a gun, you need two of them. So it's the same vibe as they would say in that regard. If you don't need a gun, they're telling you don't need a gun, you need two of them. So yeah, that makes sense in that regard. So watch out for tomorrow with the big speech with RFK, but understand, RFK as the director of Health and Human Services, like you said, might actually not be a bad idea. If you're going to do any kind of that stuff, because that guy's crazy enough, and that's his big old thing. If you're going to believe in a federal solution, but you shouldn't, you should get your local level to do it as well. So, all right. One more thing.
Wrap up on politics. Anybody that says this, you should scratch your head on too.
You're 1 month removed from the assassination attempt on your life.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you are suffering any PTSD from that experience.
No, not at all. But I do, and thinking about it, it's a miracle that I wasn't killed, as you know. You saw the flight of the bullet and everything else. You saw, they say, 1/8 of an inch away, 1/8 of an inch. And there has to be a reason. And I do believe in God. I also believe perhaps God had a purpose that he wants to save this country. And I think that may have really been a reason. We have to save our country. Our country is going bad. We're a failed nation. We're failing very badly. You just take a look at the mess that's happening right now in Chicago. The answer is it was a very close call. 1/8 of an inch, and I wouldn't be talking to you right now. And I think God has a reason for doing things, and his reason might very well be that he wants to save this country, maybe save the world.
Have you suffered any?
Yeah, we all know Steve's opinion on that.
Well, yeah, not just the guys, but they're just talking about, really? You think that highly that God sent me down here to save the country or maybe save the world? There's a confidence, and then there's that. Be wary, I would say. But hey, my version of centralism, that's what everyone needs. That's, again, it's an elected kingdom.
It is. And that's what we hope to talk about in News from Pew, just to kind of warn you. All right. I don't have a saint of the week. My cry room is going to be the entire DNC. So I don't know if you have any. I don't know if you have anything.
I got a couple weather related things.
Okay.
So cry room, first off, remember a couple of weeks ago they came out saying there's going to be 25 hurricanes this year.
Yep.
Remember hurricane relief roared back to life. They're not expecting one for some. I think we had 3.
Mm-hmm.
Three.
Well, they're afraid if Trump gets reelected that he's going to nuke all the hurricanes.
Yeah.
So.
We're on letter E. So obviously September 10th is the peak height of hurricane season. But we're at 4, and they predicted 25.
Yeah.
So I'll just laugh at that. Also, here in North Kakalaki, yesterday was the whole week has been incredible weather-wise. And apparently we had the first person ever that has suffered heat stroke in beautiful weather. All right, so there's that bulletproof glass now. You saw that they had bulletproof glass that is right now?
Yep.
Now,
it's all pomp and circumstance, bro.
The story, just remember that clip that we played about TV. It's all about the image. It's all about this. We mentioned, was it Brandon? I might have said it was hot, this hot day in August, 60 degrees in August. Where Asheboro, North Carolina is probably an hour west of here, northeast of here, northeast, more eastern than north. And it was low 80s here. Beautiful. I was outside at the same time. Great. Just perfect day. We were at the park helping teaching kids how to ride a bike. Somebody had a heat stroke. This wasn't 95 degrees where they had it before when he was last here, and they had people going to the hospital with heat-related symptoms. Unless she's from Arizona, Alaska, or from North Pole or something, and this is the first time seeing heat, I having a hard time buying that, because that's the main thing. They just they made it so like, look how humid it is. Because I think Waltz did this. I was looking for the video. Something happened at one of his press conferences or pep rallies, and the thing everyone was typing up, look how humid it is. Look how he cares about everyone. Doing the same thing. This marketing for the same idea. It's just our guy doing it. Again, forget about principles, forget about deals, forget about everything else. Because remember, warp speed? Forget it. Warp speed. You don't care about that. The death jab. I love the guy. He does good tweets. Yeah. That's how the voter goes anymore. So,
yeah. Do you have a saint, or is that it?
Oh shoot, Saint of the Week. I'll go with Angel Reese had a good line.
Well, then I go Caitlin Clark just because.
No. Someone asked her about Kamala, and she responded very intelligently too, saying that I do not know much about. It's in a sense it's kind of stupid too, but I don't know much. I'm not very educated on the topic, so I don't want to give my opinion on this. I would just recommend people to go vote, and that's things like. And it's like, wow, she didn't go out, she didn't pull a race car, she didn't say anything weird off the wall, wokey. But
she didn't go girl boss.
Yeah, it was for something like that. So hey, get the girl a little applause.
Yeah, good for her. I think deep down she's not a bad girl. She just got influenced by wrong people in that. I think she probably isn't that bad of a person. Like most of us.
BP brings up a good point here. He has bad advisors because who during 2016 he had Pat Cattell, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's dead now, and he ran that campaign beautifully. And now that he's gone, Pat's gone. It's not the same. So yeah, 100%. He also has bad advisors because Pat was amazing for him. He was amazing. Yeah. He was a great dude, anyways, from what I hear.
Yep, that is very true. So I think that's going to wrap it up for us today on News from the Pew. Please like, subscribe, and share the News from the Pew. We will talk to you all next week. God bless, and Viva Cristo Rey.
Over the last couple of nights, we have all seen brave people walk onto the stage and share their most private pain. Amanda and Josh, Caitlin, Hadley, they told us their stories of rape and incest and near-death experiences from having the state deny them the abortion that their doctor explained was medically necessary. And they've told us these things for one reason, and that is to keep what happened to them from happening to anybody else. Because if you do not have autonomy over this, if you cannot control when and how you choose to bring your children into this world and how they are raised and supported, there is no American dream.
And imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been, What can be unburdened by what has been.